Good morning everybody, day 4 of lockdown. That was a bit thin, a bit early for chipping. Hope you're all well. It was great to catch up with Jason, as I said yesterday. Some interesting news that come through this morning was that Boris has got the coronavirus, which is a little bit scary, but OP's all right and doing okay. Got a bit to get through again today. I've got a couple of other jobs that I need to get sorted. I need to clean the shed out. Yeah, that's the next job for today, is clean the shed out. We're also going to catch up with Sam Stevens. Now, I've had quite a few requests in from people asking me about maybe some games for their kids at home. So Sam Stevens is based in Plymouth, but he helps us at Torquay Golf Club as well. He's a junior development coach. So we're going to check in with Sam to see if he can bring us a couple of videos to help with the kids at home. Now, the topic for me today is the yips. So I wanted to speak to you today a little bit about the yips. Some people do struggle with the yips a little bit when it comes into their putting game and in their chipping game, but we're going to talk about putting today. Now, I was a golfer who probably about 15 years ago really did struggle with the yips, more in my putting, and this started when I went to America. I went to university in America and I got onto those sort of quick greens, and I really started to struggle with my putting, which then turned into a little bit of an anxious attempt of hitting a putt. Ended up in the bunker once off a putt from about 10 foot. Anyway, a lot of pros will tell you that putting yips and things like that come from a poor technique. So what I thought I'd do today is have a little look at my putting on the Sam Putt Lab, just share with you what's kind of happening within my stroke and a couple of areas of my putting that I want to have a little look at, which is going to be the rotational side of things and my speed control. Now, I don't suffer from the yips now with the shorter putts. Where I really start to struggle sometimes, not all the time, but just sometimes, is with the long putts. So we'll talk about that a little bit later on when I get the Sam Putt Lab out. Right, next one, box jumps. If you want to start to use the ground a little bit more for your golf swing, box jumps can help this. So I do about 3 sets of 4. Get 3 sets of 4 in, and then yeah, you'll be feeling it then. So the thing with box jumps is they can really help you use the ground as you start to jump up out and get a bit more power into the shot, which I'm hoping now is going to help me with my bit of speed training. Let's have a few swishes. Let's see if the old step through is feeling easier today. Now, just to let you know, I've got plenty of clearance from the wall. Those that were a bit concerned about me whacking into the wall the other day. Let me know how you're getting on with your speed training. Put your comments down below. I want to see how you're getting on. Are you with me? Right, 5 times either side. Finish it off. Might have to give the old grip a little scrub. Felt a bit slippery on that last one. Right, let's go and have a little catch up with Sam Stevens, good friend of mine, PGA professional, junior coach. Let's see what he's got to share with you that can hopefully help with your kids at home.
Morning kids and parents, hope you're good. Obviously we're not able to go to golf at the moment, so we thought we would send out some fun things for you to do at home, all to do with golf. I know you're doing your schoolwork, which is very important, but maybe in some break times and some down times you can do some of our activities for golf. So I'll send out some quizzes and all different games and things that you can play online, all to do with golf. I'm going to start today with a drawing challenge. So this is George, and George is my son. Okay, he's 5, so we're at home, aren't we, mate? Doing some schoolwork this week, but we're going to start with a little fun activity for golf, okay? So I'm going to ask you to design your own golf holes, okay? So you can see on this bit of paper here, George has named his golf course the Newton Road George Golf Club, and I've just written his name and age at the top there, and this is the first hole. Now what I've done is I've drawn George a start point, which is called a tee, which all the kids will know, and then we've got a flag at the end, and then George is going to design his own hole using different coloured pencils for different things. So George, what is yellow going to be for? What's yellow on a golf course?
Bunker.
Good boy, very good, okay. And then we've got green. What's going to be green on a golf course?
Grass.
Grass, lots of grass. And then what is going to be blue on a golf course?
Water.
Good guess, okay. No help from Dad. All right, so there we go. So that's our different coloured pencils, okay? And George is going to design his hole. Okay. Right, so we're going to draw. Okay, so George has finished his now, and this is his final drawing. So George, we've got at the front here, just spin this around, we've got a T at the bottom, okay. What else have we got?
A pond.
We've got a pond.
And lots of trees.
Lots of trees, very good, okay, which look very good.
And a green.
And a green, nice big green. That's a really good hole there, George, great work. Okay, so guys, let's see if you can do yours. I hope everyone's good and staying safe, and we'll speak to you very soon.
Wish me luck. Right, shed now cleared out. Bit of sweeping to do, but I cannot believe how much stuff we've got. How has that got in there? Just a hoarder, absolute hoarder. Okay. Good job. Right, Charlie, how's it looking now?
Very tidy.
That is very tidy now, isn't it? Mummy will be happy, won't she?
Yes, she will. Gold star Daddy.
So one of the things that we do when we're trying to fight the yips to a point is that we're trying to keep the face of the putter as square as we possibly can. Now for this particular putter, it's got a slight bit of toe hang, and what that means is that there's a lot of weight at the end of this putter that's allowing the putter to kind of just want to roll over as it comes through and rotate as it comes through impact. But what I've been doing is I've been almost fighting it. So even though I love the kind of look of this putter, when I look down at it, it gives me a lot of confidence. I've been anxiously trying to keep that putter for as square as I possibly can, for as long as I possibly can, instead of allowing the natural rotation of the putter to kind of work its way through. If I do this simple technique, which is basically hitting a couple of putts with my eyes closed, I'm trying to get my senses going. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to feel the actual head of the putter. And when I do this, I instantly start to feel this part of the putter. I'm not really feeling much on the face point of view, but what I'm feeling is how that putter is kind of starting to work, and it feels like the putter is working on a bit of an arc. So if you think about how I'm tilting over the putt, okay, I'm not over into this position, which is getting my shoulders to work pretty much straight back and straight through. I'm kind of slightly stood upright, so I'm slightly leaning towards it, which ultimately, if you think about my shoulders, if they were to rock, the arc of my shoulders and the arc of my putter should move like a bit like a semicircle. And now when I keep my eyes closed, I'm now sensing that semicircle even more. And I'm feeling like the putter is kind of working on this kind of semicircle arc, which in turn is allowing that putter to kind of rotate as I come through to impact and then through the follow-through position. I'm going to hit 10 putts with each now. I'm going to hit 10 putts with me just swinging it normally. So eyes open, just letting the putter work through like I would normally putt. But I'm also going to hit 10 putts where I close my eyes and I just get a sense of that putter working back and through, just thinking about the toe of the putter as it works through. So we're going to start off by looking at the rotation of the putter. This is how much sort of what we call toe flow or rotation of the face coming through to impact. And we'll look at the first and second putts that I've hit. So one of the putts being with me just normally hitting putts, and then the second time is me closing my eyes and trying to get a sense of that putter itself. So these lines here are indicating my rotation of the putter coming through to the black lines here, which is me at impact. Now this is me hitting the 10 putts with my natural position, And you can see here that these lines are quite squiggly coming into that impact zone there and the black lines, so a little bit inconsistent. If we just compare that to a tour player, and these are just tour player numbers that have come from SAM, Science and Motion Sports, but examples, but you can see here how close and how tight these lines here are coming into impact. So this is ultimately him or her trying to really manage the face coming through, so very consistent on their stroke. So this is my second attempt now, putting with my eyes closed. I'm really getting a sense of where the weight of the putter in the toe is, and not fighting the putter, just trying to feel like it's releasing naturally as it comes through. And you can see these lines for me are starting to become a lot closer here coming through to impact. Still not perfect, but certainly getting somewhere with it. So now that we're starting to manage the rotation of the putter, so I'm starting to get somewhere with it. So when I'm having emotional breakdowns on the golf course, it's going to be harder and harder for me to be able to manage that face as much as I possibly can. You got to think, if I'm emotionally breaking down on the golf course and I'm letting everything build up and I'm tensing up, it's going to be even harder for me to be able to manage that club rotation. So just by getting a sense of it now and trying to feel that and practice that, it might just help when I'm out on the golf course to be able to manage those yippy feelings. So another little part that I've got for you, which is something that I worked on quite heavily when I did struggle badly with the yips, and this is how do we control the speed of the putter? And what I mean by that in two ways. How do we control it from a consistency point of view? So how do I consistently keep control of how the pace of my putting stroke is going to be? And the second point is, how do I manage the acceleration? So coming from my sort of backward swing and then accelerating into my actual flowing putt. Now the lucky thing for this particular drill is that you're at home and you're on your own. So don't laugh, but it's humming. Now what's going to happen for some of you is when you do this for the first time, and everyone's giggling at you around you, but when you do this for the first time, is you're gonna get this type of action when you hum. So your pitch of the hum is gonna change. And that's you thinking too much about striking the golf ball and not focusing enough on your actual humming pitch. So I'm gonna now hit 10 putts in 2 different ways. One of them is not humming, so I'm just going to hit 10 putts as I would normally. And the second time I'm going to hum over every putt. I'm going to try and focus on that pitch and try and keep control of it. Let's just see what the actual numbers show from the actual speed and the acceleration. So this is my first 10 putts of the non-humming motion. Trying to get these lines as close as we possibly can right up to this strike position, which is these black lines here. And you can see that there's a bit of a spread there. If we go down to the bottom one, then this is my acceleration. So if you see here again, look at how much of a spread we've got there coming through to impact. If I now just compare that to a tour player, you can see how tight these lines are. I mean, this is so impressive how tight these lines are going up to strike position there with the speed, and then how tight these lines are with their acceleration as well. Really, really impressive numbers there. Now, the easiest way to explain that is if you think about a car. So I'm in cruise control now, I'm going at 30 miles an hour, and that is the speed that the car is running at. Now the acceleration is how I managed it to get to 30 miles an hour. So the acceleration, as I push down on the accelerator, how consistent I am in getting to 30 miles an hour with all 10 of those putts. This is now me hitting 10 putts whilst I'm humming. You can see that these lines are coming a lot closer together. Just one at the end there, or I think it was the last putt that I hit, was just a little bit out. But ultimately that, even though it was out, it still made a nice similar line to what the others were. But ultimately it was just a little bit slower in the actual putt. If we then look at my acceleration side of things, again, these lines are so much closer. So we're getting some more consistent actions there. So there's my little tip of the day, which hopefully will be able to help you with some of those yippy putts that you might have on the golf course. Now just remember that this is just practice inside the house. You know, this is not the emotions of being out on a golf course. There's a lot more to it when you get out onto the golf course. But ultimately, if we can try and keep our stroke as consistent as we possibly can, if we start to understand how the putter rotates, or your putter rotates, when you get out onto the golf course, you'll actually be able to manage that just a little bit better when you're getting under a little bit of pressure. So this is the same when it comes to the actual consistency of your acceleration and your actual stroke. If you can learn how to manage that whilst you're inside practicing, it might just help you that little bit more when you get on the golf course. Right at the end of another busy day at Lockdown. Just a few ideas there. Hopefully might be able to help you if you do suffer a little bit from the yips. It's certainly something that I battled through over a few years, but did manage to get over it to a certain point. Let me know, put your comments down below. Have you suffered ever with the yips? Have you had a little drill that you've got away with, trying to sort it out for yourself? I'd like to hear what you have to say. And it's the weekend, it's Friday, so little glass of wine for me, a little bit of dinner. Good night everybody, I'll see you all tomorrow.